There it is.
Hello.
We're here.
We're here. Hello, Facebook. Welcome to the Live at 5. Do you guys know that this is literally one of the things that we look forward to the most each week is coming on and just connecting with you guys?
The best part is that our kids know. Is it live at 5 already? Can I get on my tablet?
I was just going to say the same thing. Can we get on our tablet since it's the Live at 5?
Mm-hmm. Yes, please, go be quiet.
Exactly.
Anyway.
All right.
Let's get started.
We have a lot of cool, fun updates for you guys. So we're gonna start with client wins and journey updates. Okay, I'm gonna grab my sheets so I don't forget. Okay, well for starters, and this is gonna lead a little bit into one of the topics for this week, but I want to give recognition to Cassie. Cassie started in our mastermind, I don't know, I guess about 3 months ago, and then decided to go ahead and add on the wholesale course. So one of the things that happens when you're a new investor is you're constantly faced with new stuff that's scary, right?
Yeah.
And so she got her first offer accepted on Mother's Day. I think I might have mentioned that last week. And she was like, I just wanted to back out of the deal because she freaked out. Like she got so scared. But anyway, she didn't back out. So she got contractors out there, started getting bids, started doing all the due diligence. She came on our property tour, our virtual property tour on Friday and did a whole presentation on the deal, the opportunity, what the numbers were. Anyway, it's just, we were so proud of her. And she was like, I was terrified. And I was like, yeah, you were terrified and you did it anyway. And that is why you're awesome. So I just want to give recognition. She's working on her first deal. There's more rehab than she originally thought. So she's working on a price reduction now. So she's just stepping one foot in front of the other on her journey. So that's awesome. Couple other updates. Oh, Battelle is doing her first remote fix and flip in Indianapolis. And she's about 2 weeks away from the end of her rehab, which has been definitely a challenging rehab to do. And so we're super excited about that. Also, Mike and Shelly are 2 weeks away from doing their first remote fix and flip. They've done fix and flip before, but they've always been one to put their hands on it. So they're trying to figure out how do we go put our bodies wherever we want them to be, but still make money in real estate. So anyway, so they're closing in on the end of that one, and that's really exciting. That one's in Michigan, and they live in California, so that's exciting. What else?
Aldrine.
Oh yeah, so Aldrine had a really interesting project. When she came into our mastermind, we had our strategy session, and she said she was working on a 3-family property. And, but she really just didn't, it was her and a friend, and they didn't really have the education, but they're like, well, how hard could it be? And there's, of course, a lot of learning curve along the way. And one of the things I said right off the bat when we started looking at the numbers is, hey, Steve, hey, Aldrine, it might be better on this one to just cut your losses and just sell it. It's, all they had done was just got the demo going, and they had a lender and draw process and all that, and they didn't quite understand how it worked. So it was taking a lot more capital than they realized. And like the ARV just wasn't going to be there. They weren't going to make money selling it. And so I said, well, based on the cash flow, I said, if you want it as a cash flow property, that's an option, but that's all it will be because there's no equity in it because you're putting more into it than it will resell for. And so she talked to her partner and they decided to go ahead and keep it. So they kept rehabbing for about a week or two. And anyway, she told me yesterday that they decided just to cut their losses, sell it. They have somebody who's interested in buying it so they can now recoup some of their capital and go work on something new. So, sometimes that's still something to celebrate because when you make a decision that, allows you to kind of shrug off something that's not really helping you move forward, it's a hard decision to make. So anyway, we're really excited for her to have made that decision so she can start working on, the next thing to actually start bringing in capital to her life. And she's being coached through it. So, obviously she'll get to skip a lot of those errors. And then the last one I wanted to share with you guys was just an update with Vamsi. Been updating you guys every week. So Vamsi is the one working on that 12-unit townhouse project. Now she's actually about to do a cross-country move with her family, and she's been having trouble getting the due diligence information in. And the seller's not trying to keep it. It's just the information was kept by kind of a mom and pop property manager, and they just didn't keep records the way that we would hope. They could just print out a report. So it's been like delays in getting the actual financial information to do that part of the due diligence. So Vamsi and I have been talking back and forth every couple days, and she's like, should I just, back out of the deal? And I was, so where it's landed right now, and I'll just keep you guys updated along the path, is we're basically going back to the seller saying, look, you have to take the time to put the information in a format that we can do some due diligence on. As long as you're willing to do that, we're still willing to go forward. But now we need to extend the due diligence period by 2 weeks because we were supposed to have this 2 weeks ago. So anyway, that's just it's a normal part of real estate, and it's also a normal thing if you're buying a property from someone who has a property manager who's, kind of more like hands-on, not really so much on the computer stuff. And anyway, you have to be flexible in real estate a lot. So right now she's going through that and making the decision, do I stay in the deal and just do an extension? She can't pull together a bunch of stuff on her own. She's literally getting ready to pack her kids and drive cross country with her husband. Anyway, so we're working through that deal, and we'll see what happens. So that was a really good one for her to get into her first like big due diligence one. So anyway, I feel like there's probably more. Those are the ones that came to me. So
I mean, that's a lot.
Right? There's the mastermind call was pretty exciting yesterday.
Yeah, that's a lot of really good wins. Cool. Yeah. So I got the opportunity this week, since last Thursday when we did our apartment training course. We had a lot of people come on, and we have about 67 people registered to come. Probably around 10 people that express an interest in wanting to get into their first apartment. So I had the opportunity to meet with 5 people this week so far. Actually, 7 people, 5 of which took action and enrolled with us. So I want to just recognize some action takers. We've got, Brad and Marlene Basta enrolled into our apartment acquisition mastermind. Steve Caro, shocking, he upgraded, right? He's already got his 19 doors in 90 days, and now he's probably going to get 90 apartments in 12 months. Who knows? There's no guessing that he's probably going to just launch.
I know he's on there. He's like, yeah,
actually, that's a really good goal. Yeah, 20 apartments by December. Who knows? You never know with Steve. But anyway, so congratulations to Steve, and then we Joni, Alexis, and Carol also enrolled into the apartment acquisition mastermind with. They did a training, like a 3-day boot camp with Stacy about 12 years ago.
2007 or something.
It was a while ago.
A long time ago.
And they so when they saw Stacy, they're like, wait a minute, let's talk about that. So that's cool. We're excited about that. And then Amy Hancock just reached out yesterday exploring opportunities. She does a lot of real estate in Arizona, and I had the opportunity to talk to her today. And she enrolled right away. I was like, yeah, how do I get into this and get going? So, and then Battelle, who's already wrapping up her flip, is now like, okay, I'm kind of over the flipping scene. How can I do the buy and hold? And so we're super excited for Battelle to have upgraded also. So I don't know, that's 5 enrollments on the apartment mastermind, and we're super excited about that. So
I think it kind of as a natural segue, it's kind of lower on our list, but to introduce, a lot of you guys have already met her if you're watching the 1031 Exchange series, but Kimberly Keaton is a friend of mine for 12 years, maybe 13 years now. We call each other we're our soul sisters, right? Sister from another mister. Anyway, she's just one of my very best friends, and she was in our wedding, and anyway, we go way back. But in addition, she happens to be exceptionally good and very, very focused on just apartment investing. And so since we started Warriors of Wealth, we have been in communication with Kimberly, hey, when we launch our apartments division, I can certainly teach it, but we have a bandwidth issue. And I do lots of different real estate, but she focuses on just apartments. So she's super expert. And so we have been hoping that she'd be available at some point. And at first she wasn't. And over the last couple of months, she had some things wrap up, and she was like, okay, you know what? I can come on and be part of what you're doing. I'm so looking forward to it. And she believes in the same things that we do, which is just honoring you and helping you through your journey and getting you across that from, I really want to do something, to I'm doing it, and being fully supported. So Kimberly's now officially come on, which is what is allowing us to really launch this, and we're really excited. So Kimberly's going to be our lead coach in our apartment acquisition program and running our Thursday calls when we launch those in June for the Apartment Accelerator program. So anyway, we are just absolute through the roof in happiness about Kimberly coming on. So you guys will probably start seeing her more. You'll see her in the 1031 Exchange videos we do, because that's just an ongoing thing we get to do. So anyway, I just wanted to welcome her, and we're so excited.
You didn't give enough detail on just how awesome this is, what Kimberly's doing it. So I have to do it.
Okay.
But, what most people don't realize is, we have the mastermind that's 12 months, but what Kimberly is actually signed on to do is to do an accelerator within that 12 months. So it's for 90 days, she's doing these Thursday calls with these folks, and like launching and getting them started, so that for the first 3 months of that year, it's like building a foundation, getting the knowledge, taking action as she teaches them. And then for the last 9 months, it's like, yeah, boom, let's go. Let me hold your hand, look over your shoulder, and get you going. And it's like it's the perfect learning environment. So we're just super grateful. She has the bandwidth to take on up to 25 people. And in 4 days, we got 5 people already for her. And she's like, oh, awesome, let's go. So that, I mean, just the delivery and the value that she's going to bring it's really awesome. So Kimberly, thank you and welcome. It's awesome.
And it's funny because back in, God, Kimberly, was it, I mean, I know you're on here. Was it 2007 or 2008? Kimberly and I have been trying to do business together since we met. And
since Stacy was a redhead.
Yeah, so I used to, my hair used to be red and Kimberly's hair is red. Mine was through, you know, the magic of chemistry, and hers was just what grows out of her head. But anyway, so we started like a little company, not officially, but we started calling ourselves Redhead Real Estate. And so we were like trying to get a deal together all the way back then. That was before she had even entered the world of apartments. So like we are so excited to finally to be working together. We've worked near each other and on similar projects, but never like actually together. So we are so stoked. And Jennifer and I love Kimberly, as literally every single person who ever meets her does, because she's just amazing. And you guys will love her. Okay, so anyway.
Before we get started on the topic of the week, I want you guys, like, you can ask us any questions. It doesn't have to be about the topic of the week. So start peppering the questions while Stacy goes over the topic of the week. I'm going to like monitor that and then feed her the questions just like we always do every Wednesday. So I'll let her get started and I'll be looking for you guys and your questions. Go ahead.
Okay, so 2 things I want to talk about today. One actually just came up in a call today, and one was talking a little bit more about like what the journey that Cassie's on and what that looks like. So I was talking today with a couple of people who are just starting in our apartment acquisition like one-on-one program, and they already met with Kimberly and they're getting started with her, and I was just like onboarding them, showing how to use Kajabi and where to click on what and just stuff like that. Like we were just chit-chatting, and these are some people I actually trained in single families like a couple of years ago, so it was really cool to reconnect with them. And one of the things that Marlene, who I know you're on here, Marlene had mentioned is, you know, as we're moving into apartments, one of the things I'm a little like concerned about, not concerned, but I'm anxious about getting going on is building like investors. I want to bring other investors into my deal and do like small group venture type of thing. And I feel a little, nervous about that because I feel like I'm asking people for money. And I was like, oh, hey, Marlene. And I was like, oh, okay. We need to reframe that ASAP. Or I learned about reframe for Jennifer, NLP master practitioner. So I was like, let me take what I've learned from my wife and reframe this for you. And I was like, first of all, and the reason I'm going to talk about this today is because I realized when I was talking to Marlene, this is something that is pervasive with a lot of people, and it's something that has to get broken. And sometimes you just need someone from the outside to help you see it in a different way. When you have a deal and you are looking for funding for your deal, you are not looking for someone to give you money. You're not begging, asking for money. It's not like that. That is a very different energy. You're not like, oh, can you make my car payment for me this month? It's not like that. When you have a real estate deal, you are the one who is investing in your knowledge, investing your time, and for a lot of people, your money in learning how to do it and getting coaching and getting help. You are bringing something to the table that very few people know how to do. When you're the person who knows how to identify the right market, how to build a team, how to get lead generation going, how to analyze a deal, how to make offers, how to pull the funding together, how to do due diligence, how to literally pull 100 different moving pieces together and make it happen, that is extraordinarily valuable. And very few people know how to do it. So the thing that you have to know is when you are looking at a deal and you need to raise money as part of your deal, you're not asking for money. You're literally providing an opportunity for the other 99.9% of the population out there that does not know how to do that, is not going to invest their time and their resources in learning how to do it. They're not. But they know they want real estate. Most everybody knows that real estate is the absolute number one way to build wealth, but they don't know how to do it. And they're too busy, or they don't They're not passionate enough to go find out. So when you are the one who has the deal, when you're the one who's built all that, you really have to honor what you're bringing to the table, and it's huge. So what you're doing is you're creating an opportunity for people to get involved in a real estate transaction that they would never have an opportunity to get into otherwise. Why? Because you're the one taking the time to learn it. You're the one taking the time to call brokers, to look for properties, to analyze the deals. It's a lot of work to do what you're doing. And that's a huge value to the people who have money. Lots of people have money. That's not that big a deal. I mean, it probably feels like it when you don't have any, but that is the easier thing. The knowledge and the willingness to work is the most valuable thing that you have. So if you have that mindset of, oh, I feel nervous because I feel like I'm asking for money, you got to reframe that immediately. You're not asking for jack. In fact, you are not going to accept just anyone in. Like when you're deciding who to bring into your deal, like Kimberly likes to call it, I got to check to see what kind of crazy they are. They got to be my kind of crazy. I'm not just bringing anybody in. I want to make sure that it's a good fit because we are now going to be business partners in the deal for the next couple of years, particularly if it's like a value add project. All right, so you have to shift that from I'm asking for money to I'm providing an opportunity to someone who would never know how to do what I'm doing. Okay, and once you do that, because she's like, I have to do that. I'm like, the other thing you got to do is like watch The Secret and start attracting those people. But as long as you were holding that belief, you wouldn't be able to because you created a block because you had this, oh, I'm afraid. So when you can just let that go and realize that's not truth at all, you're providing opportunity. Now you can truly be open and let those people come to you.
I want to step in really quick. Anybody that's in the mastermind or the Wholesale Warriors group, if you struggle with that, like if you struggle with the whole money objection, raising it and whether or not it's valuable or that whole process, and you, because it's a belief that you have, like hit me up in Messenger. I know how to rewire brains and change your beliefs so that it will no longer be limiting for you. And that's just self-disclosure.
Yeah, right.
I'm a certified hypnotherapist. I'm not hypnotizing you right now, but later. I'm just kidding. In all seriousness,
it's a real thing.
In all seriousness, I can help pop that self-limiting belief out for you in probably 8 minutes. And yeah, just let me know. Maybe I'll do it on the next Tuesday call.
Bonus,
yeah, it'll be fun.
Thing. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah. So just I like that.
Okay.
Good thoughts. Yeah, so anyone else who, if you're struggling with thinking that when it comes to raising funds, but you know that you're going to have to start raising funds in order to do your deals, that's something you just immediately, that's not the case. You're not asking for money. You're providing an opportunity. All right, and then you start attracting to you the people who are going to be great fit for you, and you're a great fit for them, and everybody makes money as a result. So anyway, that came up today with Marlene, and I just wanted to pass that along to everyone because I was like, she's not the only one struggling with that. And I forget sometimes because it's been a while since I was in that position. But when I was new, I struggled with that as well until I started having people come in and I was like, oh, okay, this is the thing. People want to do real estate. They don't know how. Yeah. Well, I know how because I paid for my education. Anyway, so that's all on that one. Okay, now, hi, Christine. Hi, amazing humans.
Christine, how is it in Florida? Hey, to wrap up that money thing too, one of the ways that I approached it when I was new is I would go to these REI events that were local and they had, like the once a month in different cities or whatever. And when I would get there, they'd actually give you a label that said, I'm looking for money. And then they would give the people with money, I have money. And it'd be really cute. Like we'd find each other. It was like that, that flash dating thing where you sit down at the table. What's it called? Speed dating, right? And so you had to have your pitch dialed in when you got in there, or else you'd feel kind of silly and clumsy. And something that I had dialed in at that point in time when, it was like 5 years ago was, hey, like, would it be cool if I just like took and stored your money for 6 to 8 months and like paid you 6% to hold on to it for you, and then I'll just give it back? Like, what do you think about that? And they would laugh and be like, did you honestly just ask me if you could pay me to store my money? Yeah. Yeah. And that was like one of those, like, how much does a polar bear weigh? Enough to break the ice. That really just like got in there and it kind of sparked really cool conversations. But that's really how you look at it, is you're paying them interest to kind of hold their money. It's locked up and you have to tell them for how long that would be. And you definitely have to go into the deal with an exit strategy that will get their money back to them. And then once you do that and you pay somebody once, they're usually going to be like, okay, can you do that again? And that's quite frankly how it works. And then you just keep doing that. And then you get a pretty long list of people that trust you to do that because you keep giving those returns. But, you know, be a little playful when you're doing it. And then it kind of takes out the awkward party of two, your table's ready. And it makes it a little bit more natural. So that's all I wanted to just add to that.
Yeah, I like it. Oh yes. Okay. So speaking of mindset stuff. So when I was talking earlier about Cassie and coming on the property tour, as you're going forward in your real estate journey, like every single step you take is scary. Anything that you do that's unknown feels scary. Like you feel afraid to step forward. And it's a real problem, and it's a challenge for everybody who's doing something new. One of the things that you really have to attach to in order to help you get the confidence to make that step forward, even though you're scared, is you have to remember, like, what was your whole reason for getting in the first place? Like, what was your big why? And that's part of, like, in our courses, like, that's one of the first things we talk about is, what is your why? Because you're gonna need that. You're gonna need to remember that when you face a challenge or you face a difficulty or you are facing fear. The only way you're gonna push through is if you're like, okay, I have a reason that's bigger than my fear, or I have a reason that's bigger than my excuse to move forward. And every single step you take, when you take that step, all of a sudden you're like, oh, that wasn't so bad. Now that Cassie's done the virtual property tour, which was a really big deal to do, like from a fear standpoint, but she did it. Now that she's done it, she's like, oh, okay, I didn't die, and you know, that was okay. I could do that again. It's no longer unknown. Doing due diligence on a property is no longer unknown. And it just, every step you take, yes, I know it's scary. And yes, I know you want to puke half the time. Cool. It's part of your journey, and it's part of what makes you real and relatable, frankly. But every time you do that, you are literally creating an asset in your life. The asset of, I already know how to do this next step. So just remember that when you're afraid, first of all, so is everybody else who's doing anything new. Same with Jennifer and I. Well, we tackle everything at this point. Like, yeah, we're afraid. Okay, whatever. Let's just do it anyway. And you figure it out. But then there's very little that scares you into inaction anymore because you get in the habit of feeling the fear and doing it anyway.
I live by the value of, do I want to be an investor or do I want to be somebody who invested and lost? And the way that I'm going to invest and lose is if I don't continue taking the action and seizing opportunities. And literally everything that you want is on the other side of that fear. So that's literally, it comes down to that. Am I an investor or am I somebody who just invested and lost? And when you think about that and your back's up against the wall, you're at ground zero, you don't have anywhere to go, you act. And Cassie, I was super proud of you. It was really cool.
Yeah, we were everybody who was in the wholesale course, the mastermind was like, oh my gosh, she's doing it. Like, you know, living vicariously through her. But just, I really honor every step that people take. I don't care how small it is. Like in the mastermind, when I talk about the first part of the call is, what are your wins for this week? Well, with some people, it's like, yeah, I just closed 4 more units, or I just got a 15 unit under contract. With someone else, it's like, I called my first realtor today. And that is just as big a deal because I was afraid and I did it anyway. And once you do it and you get the reps, you're not afraid anymore. Not only are you not afraid, now you know what you're doing, you know what you're saying, and now you can't even remember why you were afraid. So it's just taking like one foot in front of the other, but pushing yourself out of your comfort zone to do that thing that you're afraid of. Mm-hmm. Because there's no stopping you once you do that. So anyway, yeah, very excited for you, Cassie.
Totally. Right on. So I don't see any questions coming up. If you got them, fire them in. In the meantime, we'll cover up like what's next. So let's see. Don't forget, we have the property tour on Friday. It's every Friday, 1:30 Pacific Standard Time. And it looks like you have an interview.
So tomorrow, actually, I'm not sure what time it's going to be at. I think it's at 12. I'll have to find out. Okay. Tomorrow, we're doing an interview with Aaliyah and Terry, who, gosh, I trained Terry back in 2007. Like, she's a brand new investor. She has gone on to do, I think she's on her 17th self-storage turnaround project. She's done private lending. She's done like huge huge real estate, and she's like, now she teaches and brings in investors for projects, like all sorts of crazy stuff. So I was really excited to reconnect with her and her partner Aaliyah a couple of years ago. We had dinner with them last summer, and maybe last year,
2 years ago.
Okay, so we can keep track. But anyway, so I just reached out to them about a month ago, like, what are you guys up to? I'd love to interview you. So they're coming on tomorrow to talk about recession-proof or recession-resistant investing. They have some different ideas to share, and we'll probably bring them on next month to talk about some self-storage stuff too. So they're coming on tomorrow for the interview. It'll be somewhere between 12 and 1 Pacific, and once I get the time nailed down, we'll put it in events for tomorrow. So that is really exciting.
Yep. And then at noon Pacific time today, Stacy just did the how to calculate offers. And so that training's out there. We ran it live in here, and I tagged as many people as I thought had registered and were interested. So if you didn't see that, make sure you go back and find that. And we're also going to upload it to the YouTube channel, so that if you haven't actually subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure you do. It's in the welcome post that's pinned to the top of the page. That way, we're always, everything that we do in here, we're uploading to YouTube so that you can go there and kind of go through the whole library of videos and see them at any time that you want. So, cool. I still don't see any questions.
All right.
Anyone?
All right.
Going once. I feel like an auctioneer. It could be fun.
So we'll see you guys tomorrow for the interview. Again, I'll post the time. Hey, Thalia. And then Friday we have the property tour, and let's just keep rocking it. Thanks for being part of this community, and we're just excited to be here with you guys.
Right.
You're craning. Bill, I don't know about that multitasking, that craning and Facebooking. I'm glad you're just listening.
Oh my God, that's unsafe, Bill. Unsafe.
Hands free. Love you guys.
All right, guys, have a good night.
Have a good night.
Bye.